Papa, we're hungry. There's no food at home. How is that my problem? Baba Alao snapped back. Go to your mother's. Papa, this isn't fair at all. We haven't eaten anything at all. The only thing you do all day is sniff your stuff. Falana, the son of the third wife, said, stamping his feet in anger. Baba Alao removed his slippers to hit Falana, but Falana and all the other children ran out of their father's hut. I know your mother is the one teaching you to disrespect me. Foolish boy, who knows if I'm even his biological father? Maybe his mother made me raise a bastard. He's 19 years old enough to fend for himself, yet he's asking his father for food. Baba Alao thought out loud. If Baba Alao knew what evil was coming his way, he would have never been stingy to his family and everyone around him. Baba Alao was an affluent cocoa farmer. He had many hectares of cocoa processed into tea and beverages sold to traders who took them abroad. He was 68 years old, had 3 wives and 17 children. The children always looked malnourished. No good food, no good clothes. Their mothers, Baba Alao's wives, strove hard to provide for their children, selling various items in the market. Baba Alao did not benefit from his own money. He always dressed in rags, and people in the village often wondered why he never spent his money. Where does he keep his money, and who does he spend it on? They always questioned. Nobody had the answers to that question. Mama, Papa did not give us money at all. Beezy complained to her mom after they left their father's hut. I warned you not to follow the other kids to his hut. Were you expecting him to give you anything? Mama Beezy asked her daughter, already knowing the answer. Mama, I'm hungry, Beezy said. Go to the kitchen and manage with what's there. There is a little soup. Use it to eat it. The scene shifted to the third wife's hut, where her 4 children, Falana, Adio, Bamboo, and Kunnel, were sitting down to a cold meal of leftover yam from the morning. As they sat with their mother in front of their hut, she was pacifying them. Mama, how did you end up marrying my father? Despite how stingy he is, I was wondering. Falana asked, a question he had never asked before. Mama Falana was surprised. She breathed in deeply. My father was in debt at one point and needed money badly. His debtors were stressing him. Your father heard about it. At that time, he already had 2 wives. He came with an offer to pay off my father's debts in exchange for me. My father refused blatantly, but your father was not done. He cunningly convinced the debtors to disturb my father, which I found out much later in life. It became so bad that my father was almost set on fire. That day, your father planned to be there when the debtors came for my dad. At the height of the moment, I was there when my dad was almost burnt with our house. So your father paid off the debtors to save him. After that, my father was threatened in all kinds of ways by your father, Baba Alao, to allow him to take me as his wife. It got so heated that it was brought to the village leaders and council, where they asked my father if he could pay the money back in 3 months. My father had no way to get it. After a series of meetings, it was decided I should be married to him. My father was sad. I later discovered how he cunningly instigated the debtors, and one thing I found out later was so disturbing and annoying. What? Mama? The children said all together, obviously enjoying the sad story that pained their mum deeply. He actually borrowed the money from his nephew, his brother's son, Baba Bankol, which he never paid back. The children burst out laughing, almost cracking their ribs. Why are you all laughing? This is something that breaks my heart every day, Mama Falana said, almost close to tears. How about Mama Beezy, the second wife? Hers wasn't about money. She got pregnant by him and was hastily married off to him. And the first wife? Bambo asked. They got married so young. Maybe she didn't notice his character. Do you have any idea why he is so stingy? He doesn't even take care of himself, Kunnel stated, pointing out the obvious. No one knows. But one thing I know is that nothing is hidden forever. I don't even care if he's the father of my children. If he's hiding something, it will be exposed one day. You all should finish your food, clear the plates, and go to bed. She stood up and went to her room in her hut, where she cried furiously. Mama Falana never wanted a life like this, but she had no choice now, did she? 2 days later, Baba Alao went to visit his nephew, Baba Bangkol, whom he frequently visited after a long day at the farm. Baba Bangkol was his late brother's son. He was much younger than Baba Alao, but they were more like friends, though they were entirely different people, especially in their responses to their families. Baba Bangkol, who was a transporter of local food items, had more than 30 trucks. He had a wife and 3 children. His first son had just gained admission to the university in the city. Coincidentally, the boy was standing right in front of his father when Baba Alao entered their compound. The boy and his father were sorting out the money he would need. The boy greeted Baba Alao, after which he left the compound. Baba Alao said, "Don't you think you are wasting money on this boy by sending him to school? He can just as easily learn a trade, get married, and start a family all by himself." Bangkol looked at his uncle. "Baba Alao, I am investing in my future generations. This boy, Damalair, will go and come back, bringing glory to my family. What if he squanders all the money and pretends he goes to school?" Baba Alao asked. "I train my son well. I know he will make me proud. You ought to do the same." Baba Alao, all your children managed to complete elementary school through their mother's help. It's high time you wake up to reality. Most of them are married with kids and regret not being sent to school. Don't you know that in a few years, only the educated ones will get lucrative jobs and have big businesses, while the illiterates will be left to scramble for leftovers? Even if they decide not to do white-collar jobs after they graduate, they will be bold and enlightened in whatever they choose to do. That's a lie, Bangkol. Don't stress yourself wasting money. If you have money, spend it on yourself, Baba Alao affirmed. Baba Alao, you talk as if you spend all the money you earn on yourself. Nobody knows what you do with your money or where you even keep it. You wear rags because you do not want to spend money at all. You do not seem to have respect for your elders anymore. Have you forgotten I am your late father's younger brother? You were born into my arms. Just because you are a father and a husband does not make you wiser than me. I am so sorry, Baba Alao. I do not mean to insult you. No, go ahead and insult me, Baba Alao said angrily and sarcastically. There was some silence. Bangkol broke the silence. Baba Alao, Mama Falana came to meet me yesterday. What did she say I have done again? Calm down, uncle. She said she has been begging you for Falana's fees, which he needs to sit, for an examination that would qualify him to go to the university, but you have refused to give her. She said the boy wants to be an aerospace engineer, and she knows the boy has high hopes for the future. He will become great in life. Please, I am begging you, allow this boy to fulfill his dream. Are you done? How many times have I warned you not to ever interfere in my family's matters, especially concerning Mama Falana, my third wife? If she is acting like this, what should her senior wives do? Mama Rolake, my first wife, gave birth to 6 children, but not one of them went beyond elementary school. She has never once complained about anything. Now, 5 of her children, all boys, are happily married with kids, and the last child, Rolake, the only girl who is 2 years older than Falana, will soon be given away to a man. I've been looking for suitors for her. Baba Alao, have you ever wondered why no man has come for Rolake? First, she's meant to be in university or polytechnic. Second, all the boys who can marry her have gone to the city, either for greener pastures or to study. The few illiterates left are not willing to marry your daughter, because no one wants to marry a wicked, stingy man's daughter. I'm not part of the people calling you wicked, but I hear the whispers, in the market, on farms, in village squares. I do not care. As for Falana, he's not going anywhere. I will take him to the famous palm wine cellar, Daudu, to teach him how to tap palm wine. He was still talking when he was cut short by a sharp voice. Palm wine? Ah. You are a wicked man. It was a familiar voice. She came in front of them, looking very angry and upset. It was Bangkol's wife, Modela. She stood in front of both of them. Woman, how dare you intervene in our discussion? Were you eavesdropping? Baba Bangkol said, My husband, I don't mean to do that, but what this foolish old man is saying is getting me angry. I have told my husband not to be friends with this man several times, but it all fell on deaf ears, she said, arms akimbo. Bankhole, can you see the way your wife is talking to me? The wife we brought with our money? Which money? She asked and paused. You were not the one who paid my dowry. The money that my husband first made in his life, which was meant to pay my dowry at first. You collected it from him to marry your last wife. I pity her. She was a young, vibrant lady at that time, and now you have turned her into a rag. Thank God my husband later paid my dowry with the second money he made. If not, we would not have been married. Modela, you are insulting your father-in-law, Bankhole shouted. What father-in-law? My father-in-law died years ago. I do not know of any other one. Don't worry. I promise you Falana will go to school, become the best, and come back home to disgrace you. If not for our son's school fees and expenses, do you think we would not have paid Falana's examination fees? She asked angrily. Baba Alao stood up, fuming with anger, and walked out of the compound. But before he left, he turned back and said, Bankhole, I will never step my foot into your house anymore. Any day I try to do so, kill me with your machete, he swore. But Modela was far from done with insulting her husband's uncle. Go, leave our house, you stingy loafer. You will still come back here, though, because I know you will be so hungry and will shamelessly return to eat my food, she called out to him. After he left, Bankhole and his wife laughed so hard. It was a plan. They planned all the insults, thinking he would turn a new leaf. But they had a plan B if he still did not change his behavior. The couple would pay for Falana's examination fees, and he would go and stay with their son at Damalair School Hostel. After his results, they would know the next step to take. On the other hand, Baba Alao was deep in thought. Modela had never insulted him before. She had now grown wings. He worked for his money, so it's not any of their business what he used the money on. At least, he provided a roof over his family's heads. When he got home, he did not seem to hear the greetings of his wife and some of the second wife's children. He finally saw the third wife's third child, Bimbo, entering the compound with a water pot balanced on her head. Go and call your mother for me, he said grimly. The girl carefully brought down the pot from her head, poured it into a big pot, and ran inside to call her mother. He was already in his hut when Mama Falana arrived. As she entered, she was clearly fidgeting. He said, Lock the door behind you. Mama Falana understood what that meant. He brought out a horsewhip, African whip made from horses, popularly known as kiboko, and started beating her. She screamed for help, but the children and her senior wives could not beg him from outside to stop beating. He beat her mercilessly, not stopping until he was satisfied. He then kicked her with his legs out of the room when her cries were piercing his ears. Mama Falana was in so much pain that for 3 days, she could not stand up or sit up from her bed. Her children tended to her, and they suffered greatly as they had no food to eat because their mother, who was supposed to provide for them, was sick and covered in bruises. A few days later, after she was well, Baba Alao came into their hut to drag Falana outside. Where was he taking him to? Falana's awareness grew. He knew he was going to be taken to the palm wine tapper to learn the trade. He snatched his hand from his father and ran as fast as his legs could carry him. His father, who was old, could not run faster than him. Falana ran to Baba Bankhole's place, who gave him some money and an address where he could locate his son. He prayed and blessed Falana, and Falana went on his way. When Baba Alao, who was suspicious, came to his nephew's house, he asked Bankhole where he had hidden his son. Bankhole and Modela denied it completely, and when some neighbors came around to settle it, Baba Alao was sent away from the house. Mama Falana was happy that her son was in safe hands. She would sneakily go to Baba Bankhole's house to talk to her son on the phone. After months of hard work, he finally gained admission to a university where he studied his chosen course. Mama Falana would send the little money she had to her son, but Baba Bankhole sponsored most of his school expenses. Baba Alao knew that his wife had an idea of where her son was because she was so calm about his disappearance. Baba Alao did not care, as long as nobody bothered him to take Falana to school. 6 months passed, and Baba Alao fell very ill. His children and wives did not care. His health had deteriorated so much. He wasn't helping himself either. They asked and begged him to tell them where he kept his money, but he never said anything. The village doctor said the hospital needed some amount to start treatment on him, but he refused to show them the money. He insisted they bring him back home, saying he had no money to waste on hospital treatment. After months and months of no treatment, Baba Bankol secretly paid his hospital fees, which Baba Alao's ego had previously made him refuse. 6 years after, the family kept managing his condition, which grew worse day by day. Meanwhile, Mama Falana had been begging her son to come home to check on his father. Falana was now a graduate with a good job and a mouth-watering salary. He had been sending money to his mother and siblings regularly on a monthly basis. Mama Falana told her son that his father could hardly even recognize his surroundings, let alone harm him. Then something happened that shook the whole family and the entire village. Alao, the first and eldest son of Baba Alao, who was also the child of the first wife, sat in a local chair outside his hut, sulking. His business was not doing well. He was a local barber who used a razor blade to give haircuts. People who used to come to him now went to his competitor, Babara, who had been sent to school by his parents. Babara used his education to make his barbershop the best. Alao could only cut one style, but Babara could do many hairstyles. Even though Babara's prices were higher, people still went to him. Alao thought about it and blamed his father, Baba Alao, for ruining his life by not sending him to school. Angrily, Alao grabbed his machete and stomped his feet, walking quickly to his father's compound. Onlookers wondered where Alao was going with the machete. He passed by Baba Bankol's hut, where Baba Bankol's youngest child saw Alao and ran inside to tell his father. Baba Bankol sensed something was wrong. He dressed quickly and followed Alao. Alao reached his father's compound and began shouting, "Where is he? Where is he?" Mama Alao asked, "Where are you going with that machete? And who are you looking for? Where is that husband of yours who calls himself my father?" Alao demanded. "What do you want to do?" Mama Alao asked. "I'm going to kill him," Alao replied. "Ah!" Mama Alao screamed for help. "He destroyed my life," Alao shouted. "My friends went to school, but because of his stinginess, I had to learn barbing. If anyone tries to stop me, they will die first. Not even you, Mama." They tried to stop him, but no one could. He went straight to his father's hut. His father, who was very weak, managed to stand up when he saw his life was being threatened. He chased him until Baba Bankol arrived and separated them, holding Alao tightly, not caring if he injured or killed him. After some time, the matter cooled down. Baba Alao, who was shaken after the intense confrontation, was taken into the room. Alao was pacified by Baba Bankol, who gave him capital to start any business of his choice. Alao was so happy and thanked him. Baba Bankol then went into the hut and told Baba Alao, "This was what I was talking about years ago." Baba Alao did not talk. He just closed his eyes, and tears streamed down his face, obviously full of regret. Falana was informed about the incident, but he didn't care. He thought to himself, he was never a good father anyway. But 2 days later, something shocking happened. Baba Alao gave up the ghost. It was the incident that shook him. Nobody really cared. He had been a pain in everyone's neck. They buried him like a commoner, also because there was no one who had money. Even Falana, when he heard it, did not care. He did not rush to come home. A month later, he finally came, bringing Baba Bankol's son, Damilair, who had already been a regular visitor to the village, always visiting his parents. They were both successful. They drove in 2 separate exotic cars, which were crowded by little children as they drove on the road. They first went to Baba Bankol and his wife, who were so happy to see them. They finally went to Baba Alao's compound. Everyone was so happy. Falana decided to renovate the house, not because he wanted to continue his stingy father's legacy, but because his mum had begged him, saying she would like to remain there. While it was being renovated, the whole family stayed somewhere in the village. Falana stayed around for a while to monitor the progress of the house. The construction workers were working on the foundation of the house. When they stood in the exact spot of Baba Alao's bed in his room, they saw that something was being kept in the ground. After digging, they saw something unimaginable. Piles of money kept flying out, in millions and millions, a huge sum of money. They sent for Falana, who was at Baba Bankol's house at that time. The whole family rushed to see Baba Alao's money. Not good money, but totally spoiled money. They were dumbfounded. Baba Alao had dug a big hole on the floor under his bed in his hut. Now, the money was of no use. Falana asked two teenagers to burn it, and as the smoke rose in the sky, Falana nodded his head, thinking about how his father had destroyed his life because of stinginess. He sighed. Moral lessons. The consequences of greed and stinginess. Baba Alao's refusal to spend money, even on his family's basic needs, led to suffering and alienation. His hidden wealth eventually became worthless, showing that hoarding resources out of greed can lead to missed opportunities and regret. Importance of education ****. The story highlights the transformative power of education. Falana's pursuit of education, despite his father's opposition, led to his success and stability. In contrast, Baba Alao's other children, who were not educated, faced limitations and regret. Value of compassion and support ****. Bankol and his wife Modela demonstrated the importance of compassion and support by helping Falana achieve his dreams. Their willingness to intervene and support Falana's education contrasts sharply with Baba Alao's neglect, emphasizing the impact of kindness and generosity. If you enjoy this story, please subscribe and make sure to click on the notification button to know when we upload a new video. Also like, share and comment your thoughts. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.